Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Market News and Views by In the Money Stocks. Today is Tuesday, August 28th, 2012. Thank you all for tuning in. Let's get right into the charts here. We'll start off with the usual S&P 500 E-mini futures. You can see the futures are trading down about 1.5 points to 1406.75. So a little dip in the futures this morning. Not really all that big a deal if you ask me. The trading volume has just been so light yesterday, and we are expected to have light volume throughout the trading week with the Labor Day holiday next Monday. So this is the final trading week of the summer season before the markets really get back into the saddle. A lot of people are on vacation. A lot of institutions are taking a little bit of a break right now. And you have the Jackson Hole event with the Federal Reserve meeting in Wyoming. The big news out of there is that Mario Draghi and leaders of the ECB will not be attending the Jackson Hole event. That is news that was put out today. Looks like they said their workload is just too much right now and they cannot make it, so they are canceling their appearance. Once again, we'll see how that all plays out, but Mario Draghi was scheduled to speak originally this coming Saturday on September 2nd, September 1st, excuse me. So he will not be appearing, he will not be speaking. Ben Bernanke will be making a speech on Friday, and we'll see what he has to say. So again, the ECB will not be at the Jackson Hole event this week, the Jackson Hole Economic Symposium. That is where the central bank, the Federal Reserve, will meet, and they get together, have a little bit of a powwow, have some beers, and they talk about what they're going to do with the economy and what they're going to do with interest rates and monetary policy. So again, Mario Draghi and the ECB will not be joining them there. I'm not sure if that's going to affect the markets at all today, but in any case, futures are down about 1.5 points at the start of the day. Not really that big a deal. We'll see how it plays out a little bit later. Something else we should watch today is the U.S. dollar index. The dollar actually caught a decent bid yesterday, but today it is getting sold off. The dollar is down 26 cents. Generally, when the dollar is lower, the markets are higher. Dollar goes down, markets will inflate. That is not necessarily the case this morning, but we'll have to see how it plays out after the opening bell rings at 9:30 a.m. Right now, it is only 8:22 in the morning. All right, let's take a look at gold and silver this morning. Gold is trading down a little bit this morning despite the weakness in the dollar. Gold is selling off, and again, hit a very good resistance level. Gold is down $10 to $1,666 an ounce. If you take a look at the GLD, before I was looking at it, it looked flat. Now it's moved up off the lows, trading right at 161.50. Yesterday the GLD closed at 161.36. So it's up a little bit from yesterday's close. Not that big a deal. But again, if the dollar starts to gain strength, watch for more of a pullback in gold today. If the dollar sells off, watch for gold to creep higher and move back towards that 162 level. All right, let's take a look at spot crude. Light sweet crude this morning is trading higher by 83 cents to $96.36 a barrel. Decent little pop there. Let's take a look at the USO. The USO is once again trading right around this 200 moving average on the 10-minute chart, but right around the 35.80 level, closed at 35.61. So it's up about 20 cents from yesterday's close. Again, you do have a potential Category 1 storm moving into the New Orleans, Alabama, and Louisiana areas. If that storm hits, it could disrupt some oil refineries. But the bigger question is the dollar. The dollar moves down, oil moves up. Same thing goes for gasoline today. If you take a look at the UGA, you'll see that it's trading right around this 59.83 level. Anybody that's filled up their gas tank over the past few days knows how much gasoline has risen. If you take a look here, I mean, this is just a very good chart. And as the central bankers continue to inflate, gasoline continues to go higher, and that's the bottom line. If the dollar moves down, expect gasoline to move higher. If you want to get gasoline prices down, the dollar needs to strengthen, but that does not seem to be allowed to happen in this economic time. So in any case, we'll watch how the dollar trades. That will affect oil and gold as well as gasoline, and we'll see where the market goes from there. All right, let's take a look at a few stocks that are in the news today. There's not much out here, and the volume seems to be pretty light from what I could see. But nonetheless, we do have a couple of names moving. This CYBX CYBX is on the move today. This stock is catching a pretty decent bid. You'll see it here when I go to the 10-minute time frame. You'll see that stock yesterday closed at 45.33. It's trading right around the 49.15 level. It's overbought above $49. So again, I would not be a buyer of this here. If you own it, I'd just look to trail the stop. This is a new all-time high from what I can tell. So what you want to do with the stock like this is basically, it's very tough to pick the top, but I would not be a buyer up here. I'm thinking, the pre-market high was near 53. That's probably the fade point, but this stock doesn't trade much volume. In fact, yesterday it traded 248,000 shares. The day before that, just 200,000 shares. These stocks have a tendency to move higher than you actually think they can. So always be very, very prudent and careful when trying to fade these names. The better bet is to leave them alone and to just, if you own it, take profits or trail your stop. If you don't own it, basically what you're going to do is, if you want to try to fade it, it's really very, very tough. I think it is a fade candidate with more volume, but the volume in this name is so thin, so small, that these things have a tendency to go higher than you expect, and it makes it very, very tough to short. But I would not be a buyer up here because it is severely overbought at this time. Okay, let's take a look at MOV. This is MOvado Group, the watchmaker. This is another stock that is severely overbought, trading around $34. Another one with light volume. It doesn't have much volume there. It's a potential fade candidate, but picking out the right level is very, very tough. Right now you could go with 35 to 36 if you want to try it, but again, this is only for aggressive traders. In fact, it's just a tough trade when you're trading stocks that have this kind of volume in place. This stock normally trades 174,000 shares, and normally I don't even bring these to anybody's attention because the trading volume is just too light, and it's very tough to pick off these highs, especially when. But this one does have resistance around the 35 level, maybe a little bit higher, 35.50 levels. So there it could be a fade candidate. But either way, do not buy the stock up here. It's overbought, severely overbought. I would not be a buyer either way. And if you do own it, just trail your stop loss. That's the best way to play these light volume floaters that are gapping up in a big way. But again, this is a weak gap up, and at some point it should come back down to earth. But we can't rule that out in the light volume that we're going to have in the overall market today. And you also have a light volume stock, so it can go higher than you think before it does pull back. So be very careful there. But those are two stocks I would not buy up here. I would be more inclined to fade them if they had volume. Without the volume, it just becomes a very tough endeavor. All right, with that said, everybody, that's pretty much it. There are a lot of stocks out there that are in the news, but they're not moving. And unless they're big movers, I really don't bring them to anyone's attention in the pre-market video today. So we're going to leave it here today, and we'll see you all on the charts. Remember, it's going to be a light volume trading day as it was yesterday, barring any news out of Europe. Right now, I don't want to make too much out of this, but market for the most part seems to be like it's on holiday mode, and you want to respect that light trading volume as it's very, very difficult to sell against. Remember the old market adage, never short a dull market. Well, it's dull out there. I will see you all on the charts tomorrow. Have a great trading day, and we'll do it all over again. Take care, everyone.